there's three causes of why we doubt ourselves. Three main causes. The first one is the fear of failure. And a lot of people, when I go and speak into a room, or I'll say it here, and I say, like, raise your hand if you've ever been afraid to fail. Most people in a room will raise their hand. Like, yes, I've been afraid to fail, right? As an athlete growing up, and for some reason, I feel like you don't have that in you, because if you were afraid to fail, you wouldn't go to the 3rd Street Promenade every day for 6 hours a day for 4
I'm waiting
years.
for whatever the next 2 are. Fear of failure is usually not my...
That's not it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you're like, no, I'm just going to keep showing up, and I fail every day, but I'm learning and I'm growing. And as an athlete, you're failing every day in practice. Yeah. You're missing a shot, you're striking out, you're whatever. It's like, it's part of the sport. Part of it. Yeah. So I knew failure was just feedback. It was information of what I needed to learn to accomplish. Oh my God,
everybody, if you're listening to that, take that. Do you think some people are more like genetically... The older that I've gotten, the more I'm like, I don't even know how much of what I've done. I feel, you know what I mean? Like sometimes I'm like, oh, like maybe I'm 6 feet tall and that's why it's a little bit better at basketball. I feel like that fear of failure thing just wasn't my issue.
That's good.
So I don't even like.
So you didn't doubt yourself out of the fear of failure, right? And so as an athlete, it didn't make sense for me, but a lot of people raise their hand out of fear of failure, right? And the second fear that causes people to doubt themselves is the fear of success. And as an athlete, I had big goals and dreams that I wanted to accomplish because I thought when I accomplish them, then I'll be lovable and I'll feel better about myself. Like then I'll have friends and people will like me. It was like, so I wanted to accomplish and succeed. So that wasn't my fear. But when you ask people, like, raise your hand if you've been afraid to succeed, a lot of people actually raise their hand as well. And there's an amazing documentary called The Weight of Gold, which is about Olympic medalists who spend 10, 20 years of their life training for one thing, one 10-second event or one-day event at the Olympics, and they accomplish their biggest dreams. And it documents all these Olympians within 3 to 6 months afterwards who either commit suicide, go through extreme depression, waste their life away, become alcoholics, all these things. And they documented this. It's talking about this weight of gold, right? It's like, what is the saying? Like, heavy is the head that wears the crown or whatever. It's like, there's a pressure that you're not taught. There's a responsibility that you're not taught growing up. When you're trying to accomplish something, you're not taught the skill set on how to hold that accomplishment, how to hold the platinum recording artist title, how to hold the New York Times bestseller, how to hold the million, whatever it is.
Yeah, that's closer to me.
Okay.
I would be I'm more afraid of, it almost gets like to some spiritual thing of like, if you are
you deserving,
super successful, are you going to turn into an asshole?
Ah, yes.
Or are you going to not be, are some of your spiritual truths going to not be as big or something like that?
It goes back into your beliefs and your identity.
Yeah.
Like, are wealthy people assholes, you know?
Yeah.
Some are.
Not all of them.
Not all of them. But if you've been conditioned,
yes,
because you didn't have money growing up, that, these people did bad things to get money, or they hurt people, or they screwed their employees over, whatever it is.
Yeah.
If that's what we were told and were believed, that becomes our reality, our personal reality. And so then we sabotage ourselves from wanting to be a bad person if that is tied to making money.
Yeah.
And so therefore we say, I want the money, but I don't want the money. I want to be psychologically and financially free, but not at the cost of being a horrible person.
Totally.
And so we sabotage based on that.
All right, let's see. What's the third one? Because that's the most like me currently.
So fear of failure and fear of success. Those two were not mine because I understood failure was feedback and I understood success is what I wanted, but not necessarily why. I didn't have the right reasons why I wanted it. But it wasn't a fear. The third one was my entire life, which is the fear of judgment. I was afraid of what other people are going to think or say. Are they really going to accept you? Are they really going to like you? What if you say the wrong thing and they judge you? What if you do the wrong things and you're being judged? So I was what we call, a massive people pleaser most of my life. That was a wound of mine. And I was always worried what people thought. And I would always ask and make sure everything was okay. Again, because I didn't really have that many friends growing up, so I wanted to be accepted. I wanted to belong. So this is part of my wound. And the fear of judgment is big. And there are so many people out there that I talk to who have had a big dream to either write a book or create an album or put their music out into the world. There's probably tons of artists that make it for themselves, but they never record it and launch it. And you're like, just put it up on Spotify. Just make a recording. It doesn't have to be mixed or any edited. Just like put something out there, and they won't do it because they're so afraid they need it to be perfect, or they're afraid what their peers will think or their parents will think. Their judgment is so heavy that they don't take action at all, and they let their dreams pass by for years or potentially decades. For me, that's like one of the biggest, I want to call it crime, but it's like one of the biggest like internal crimes you can commit is knowing you have a gift and not putting it out there because of one of these three fears. And at the center of all three of these fears, the fear of failure, the fear of success, and the fear of judgment, literally just goes to I am not enough. Is the center of these fears, is the root of these fears.